What if you could have a hacker that never sleeps, never gets tired, and tests your code with every single commit? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. Today, we are diving into Shannon, a fully autonomous AI that's basically a professional hacker for your own applications.
So let me just start with a question for pretty much everyone working in tech. Your team is pushing code every single day, right? Shipping new features, fixing bugs, it's a constant cycle. But be honest, in that mad dash to ship, how often are you really stopping to check for security holes?
And this right here, this illustrates the core problem perfectly. On one side, you've got development moving at the speed of light, daily pushes, nonstop shipping. But then you look at traditional security testing, and, well, it's often a once-a-year thing. It's kind of like checking the locks on your house just once on January 1st, and then leaving the front door wide open for the other 364 days. That massive difference in speed creates this huge security gap. It means your team could be unknowingly pushing major vulnerabilities into production almost every single day. But what if you could have a security expert testing every single build? Well, that is precisely the gap an AI hacker is designed to fill.
So let's properly meet our solution here. This is Shannon, an AI pen tester, and the subtitle is absolutely key. It's not just a scanner, it is an attacker. This isn't some passive tool that just flags potential issues. No, Shannon is designed to actively attack your application, exactly like a real-world adversary would.
So what even is an AI pen tester? Well, think of it like a security expert in a box. It works completely on its own. It's autonomous, hunting for those weak points, the attack vectors. But then, and this is the important part, it actually executes real exploits. And then it gives you concrete proof that a vulnerability is not just there, but that it's actually exploitable. I absolutely love this quote from the source material. It just sums it up so well. So in cybersecurity, you've got your blue team. That's your defense, your developers who are just focused on building cool stuff and shipping code. Shannon is the red team, the ethical hackers whose entire job is to think offensively and break things before the bad guys can. So how does an AI actually think like a hacker? It's not just random chaos. Shannon follows a really methodical four-phase process that pretty much mirrors how a human penetration tester would go after a target. Let's break that down. Okay, so it all starts with Reconnaissance. This is where the AI maps out the entire application. It looks at the source code, it explores the live app, it finds every possible way in. Then you've got vulnerability analysis, where all these specialized agents hunt for different kinds of flaws at the same time, which is super efficient. Then comes the fun part, exploitation. This is where it actively tries to break in. And finally, reporting, where it puts together a list of only the findings that it could actually prove. And that leads to this core policy, which is frankly a huge deal. No exploit, no report. What this means is that Shannon will only ever tell you about a vulnerability if it was able to successfully pull off an attack and prove there's a real impact. This is a game changer. It's designed to completely eliminate all that noise, all those false positives that drive developers crazy with other security tools. Think of the hours saved not chasing ghosts. All right, so talk is cheap, right? Let's move on from how it works to how well it works. We're going to look at the hard evidence, the real-world results of Shannon's performance on industry-standard benchmarks. And the numbers? They're pretty impressive. On the XBOW Benchmark, which is a standardized test for these kinds of tools, Shannon hit a 96.15% success rate. And it did this hint-free and source-aware, which basically means it had access to the code but wasn't given any special clues. A very realistic scenario. Now, to put that number in perspective, let's look at a specific target, the OWAS Juice Shop. It's an app that's intentionally built to be insecure for testing. Shannon found over 20 major vulnerabilities. And we're not talking about small stuff here. We're talking about a complete authentication bypass, stealing the entire user database, and even escalating its own privileges to create a new admin account. These are game-over level exploits. And it's a similar story against another standard vulnerable app. Here, it found almost 15 critical issues, including a root-level injection attack and, again, turning a regular user into a full-blown admin. But what's also really important here is that last point. It had high accuracy with 0 false positives for cross-site scripting. That means it didn't just find holes, it also confirmed when the defenses were actually working. All right, so you've seen what this thing can do. Now, let's get practical. What do you actually need to know if you're thinking about using a tool like this? We're going to cover the different products, the costs, and some really, really important precautions. So Shannon comes in two flavors. There's Shannon Lite, which is open source and perfect for researchers or security teams who just want to kick the tires and see how it works. Then there's Shannon Pro. That's the commercial version, and it's built for big enterprises that need to plug this right into their CI/CD pipeline and want a more advanced analysis engine.
So what does a typical test run even look like? Well, you can expect it to take about an hour and a half. And in terms of cost, you're looking at about $50 per test to pay for the AI models it uses from a provider like Anthropic. Of course, that can change depending on just how complex your application is.
Okay, now for what is maybe the most important takeaway of this entire explainer. Please listen carefully. Under no circumstances should you ever run Shannon on a live production environment. Seriously, remember, this is an active attacker, not a passive scanner. It is designed to change things. It can, and it will, create users, modify data, maybe even delete records. This is only for sandboxed or staging environments, period.
And all of this brings us to one final big question. We've just seen an AI that's built to be an ethical hacker, a tool for defense. But as these AIs get better and better at breaking systems, malicious actors are going to be building their own. So it really makes you wonder, in this new cybersecurity arms race, who's actually going to win?